I'm from Mongolia. I'm a second-year student who's studying cinema and environmental studies with a prospective digital media studies minor. And I have a club called SMC Village here at St. Mike's. Yay, let's go.
Hi guys, my name is Rulin. I'm in my second year studying psych and public health. I'm from Vancouver, so West Coast, Best Coast, let's go. And yeah, I'm also a part of SMC Village.
Lovely. So, what is your club? What is the purpose of your club?
So I think it has to start with our morning runs.
Yes,
year, right?
actually. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
So
yeah.
Rulin loves running, and she runs every morning. Is it every morning?
Yeah,
a lot, right? So last year she used to invite me on winter morning runs, and we would run run circling the college circle, King's College Circle. Yeah, and then we were just discussing and talking about community, friendship, and what kind of plans we have for the next years, and then we just started we were we should open a club.
Yeah, I think the idea came to us very naturally because I think by nature we're both very community oriented people. We both really like being around others, and we like just creating a space where everyone can be together. And I think just through talking about that, we were like, wait, why don't we start a club that just focuses on that, right?
Yeah, and community is very important to us as people. We were we both put a lot of importance on our friendships and found family, and it was just a natural thing we came to together. And during summer, when I was back in Mongolia and she was back in Vancouver, we started sending reels to each other. And then to get to the village part, we were one, we need to start a club, but we didn't know what exactly it was going to be about. But then you know how community and friendship started kind of trending the past year. So there was a lot of talk about villages, just people who are together, who depend on each other, and who are there to uplift one another. Yeah, and we were okay, that's awesome. We need to create a village here at St. Mike's.
Exactly, because I think in a village, right, we all depend on each other for kind of everything. It doesn't matter if it's food, it doesn't matter if it's emotional support, whatever it is. There's always this codependence, right? And I feel like we were talking about this, but there's almost this negative stigma around dependence on somebody else. And I admit it can be a bad thing, but I also think that it's often a really necessary and important part of human relationships, right? And we were well, in a village, everyone depends on each other, and that's kind of the atmosphere that we want to cultivate for our club. So then, that's kind of how the name came into fruition.
So if you had to use a word to describe your club's overall energy, what would it be?
I would say welcoming first and foremost, because we don't have a membership list or certain people. Everyone's welcome to come and go, and they can the event or not the event. Everything's very flexible. So we just invite people to come and make them feel welcomed, and involve them in our discussions, invite discussions, and I would say welcoming to it.
Yeah, I think to go along with that, I think my word would be warmth. I think every time you come, there's always, our budget's not crazy, but we prepare food, there's always a little snack going on. I think all our execs are also very, very, very just friendly people. I think that's the simplest word to describe them. They're all so easy to get along with, no matter if it's Madison, our secretary, or if it's, I don't know, Cyrus, our outreach person. Everybody is just so easy to talk to. There's so much connection going on all the time, just because there's no I can't talk to you because I'm just better. It's always very it's so nice to be around them, and I think that really cultivates that sort of warmth, because I think a lot of the times when you join a club or a community where you weren't initially a part of it, I think it can be a little daunting, because it's everyone knows each other, and there's that coldness, right? There's that wall that you're facing. But I think with our club and with our events, we try to go out of our way to actually bring in new people and to invite conversation with people that we haven't spoken to, or people that we may not already know. And I think that's my biggest word personally.
What do you?
That was beautiful.
Wow, that was really insightful. What do you hope people take away from being part of your club?
So I guess every event, as Rulin mentioned, we try to talk to all the people. We try we try to find, because the club events, they don't go according to plan every time, right? There are like a lot of hiccups along the way, but every time we remind ourselves that like what our actual goal is. Our goal is not to create this like perfect event or like to take pretty pictures. Our goal is to have a discussion, to talk to people, to get to know each other, to build a community, and the imperfection in our events and the mishaps and all the challenges we face, they're like part of our part of creating memories, right? For example, like our first collaboration with Mixu, the sketching event we did at High Park, because we miscalculated the time. By the time we got to High Park, it's like a beautiful park, but it was already dark outside. we didn't calculate that like sunsets at like 5 p.m. Yeah, so we went there like a little later, and I was quite upset with myself because I was like, oh, I should have planned better. Like it would have been nice to see the High Park, but then everyone was having such a fun time, you know, just like the journey to get there, and then like I remember during that time that it was not about like the end goal, but it's like it's also about like keeping the vibe, you know. If you are negative, if you have that negative vibe, the event is going to be negative. But then if you look at it from like a positive perspective, or if you have people if you're surrounded by people who are positive and who like tell you, oh, it's okay, like I know we missed the sunset, but like we're still having fun, you know, that's like the important part. And yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I think for me too, in like tandem with creating memories, I think my biggest like wish for people is to be able to plant down a root. I think a lot of the times since UofT is such a big school, we've got like 60,000 students, like everybody's from different countries, different continents, different cities, just even if you know people, like you're from different groups or you're from different communities. I think the biggest part with finding a community and being able to establish yourself is to be able to plant roots in either a current existing community or just to be able to plant roots with other people. Because if you're not rooted in a place, it just feels like you're wandering, right? It just feels like, okay, well, I'm kind of just here. And I think that's why UofT gets such a bad rep for being like, oh, like, don't come here, you'll get depression. Or like, you know, everyone's so like mean and competitive, like there's no, there's no community, there are no friendships, da-da-da. That's far from the truth, I think, and I think that's what I hope our club is able to do. I think when people come, I think through conversation and being able to like pull people in, I think it's just really nice to be able to have this identity in a club or this identity with a group of people, right? You don't have to associate with, you know, SMC Village, but I think just being able to like enjoy your time with people, even if things don't go according to plan. I think being able to just have that one like familiar, friendly face. It's like, oh, I know that person. We may not be friends, you know, I might not know them on a deeper level, but it's just nice to have somebody that you can make small talk with and to not feel like, well, I'm just like, by myself, you know, and I just feel awkward out of place. So I think, yeah, being able to create a community where at least people are able to plant like one root, where you're able to know one person and just have a good time together. That's my biggest
really good answer. So let's reflect on this year. So what's been your favorite event or like event moment that you've had this year so far at the club? And like what made it meaningful for you guys?
I love all our club events because they're all like special in their own ways. But I feel like the moment that like the event that impacted me the most as like a person and made me like, you know, reflect on myself and kind of have like a change in perspective was like the sketching event that I was talking about. Because when things go well, they go well. There's like no need to change, right? But that event, because I felt like I like failed miserably, but then the other club execs going like, no, like it was actually very good. We enjoyed our time, and then us trying to find like trying to create memories in that darkness. Like literally, it was so dark outside we couldn't see anything. But then we just like gathered around, like talked about like our deepest, darkest secrets or whatever, right? And in and of itself, like it felt like successful. So it like really reminded me to redefine what success is. Success is not like high attendance or, you know, everything going to going according to the plan. But like successful event is us connecting with each other, us having like a talking about stuff that we would normally like won't have like time or opportunity to talk to and to connect with people on like a deeper level, right? So it really reminded me of what's important about the club, which is like the community and the friends we make, and just getting to know one person is like enough. And I feel like I kind of forgot about that with our events because I was like aiming for like a higher like standard, aiming for like cool posts or like like high attendance or just like to have like this 20 people came, but it's not about that. It's about like that memory. Yeah, I would say.
Sometimes you gotta focus on the energy,
So that was, I would say, like a very valuable moment from our events for me.
I think for me, honestly, what sticks out most was our first event, because our first event, it was, admittedly, it was our highest attendance. We had, it was, I think, how many people came? Like 30?
More than 30, I'd say.
More than 30, plus like our execs. It was close to 40, I think. It was insane. It was a huge group of people. But I think what stood out to me the most was just when we were on the island, because we went to Toronto Islands for our first event, right? It's like a little picnic event where we just, sat down, got to know each other and whatnot. And I think what stood out to me the most that day was just being able to sit together in a group of like nearly 40-something people, and everyone kind of went around and shared, like where I'm from, why nature means a lot to me, da-da-da. And in and of itself, it's not, it's not insane. It's not like, it sounds more like an icebreaker kind of event, right? Where you get to know each other for the first time, and it's like, oh, like this is where I'm from, da-da. But I think it was so lovely because like people genuinely listened. Like I was looking around at times, and I think there was just so much curiosity within people, and I think that's something that drives us, right? Is our curiosity about other people, about the things around us, about nature and whatever. I think those sorts of, or that sort of kind of yearning to know more and to be able to understand others, I think that's what drives our club at its core. And I think it was so awesome to see that actually being like played out in people, where when someone else is sharing, if you were like in a tutorial or something, I feel like a lot of times people would be, staring off into space, or there'd just be a lot of like disassociation because who really cares? But I think with that event, everyone was really like honing in on the person speaking. There was a lot of like, after we broke out of the circle, there was a lot of side conversations. People were getting to know each other for the first time. And I think we structured the circle in a way where it was like, sit next to somebody that you don't know. I think we did that, yeah. So it was really nice to see people not talking to each other, where, for example, some of our friends came and we could see people who've never interacted before speaking to one another and creating that sort of bond, and I think that was so lovely. And maybe I'm biased because like the weather was really good that day, but I think overall just having that, it kind of left me with like this feeling of like, like happiness and warmth, and yeah, I think that's what our club strives to bring to people. So
yeah, because I feel like with a lot of events, like you only get to talk on the surface level, right? Of like, oh, what's your age, what's your program, and that's where the conversation like ends. But I feel like to get to know a person, first and foremost, you have to know like where they're coming from to become a person like that. So like their background and how they grew up is like a very important like conversation. Also like a source that like makes you to know a person. And then I feel like starting the club event with getting to know each other's like backgrounds and how they grew up and what like their family dynamic was like a very important like the biggest icebreaker you could ever have. Yeah.
Alright, so reflect on like how you started this club. What was an aspect of starting this new club that you didn't really expect to come up? Like any like sort of challenges that you sort of came up during the process of trying to make the club?
No, I thought everything sailed smoothly. It's because we had like a very clear vision of what we wanted to create, which was just like this community of people, group of people, and who just want to connect to nature and spend meaningful time with each other, and then have like meaningful discussions that are not just about like finals and exams and what we ate, but like about like our like family and how like some things affected us, and like our hopes for the future and what we hope to gain like from nature or whatever, like important questions that make us like reflect on each other. So I feel like our vision for it was so clear, and with our name too, it's like Village. We want to. That's why it was like easier for us to come up with ideas, or because we have like the core foundational like belief that like guides us through all our like events and this process. So it was like I'd say it was very smooth.
Yeah, now thinking back on it, I don't think we've had many hiccups, if any at all, or the major ones. I think maybe only one I can think of is like, because there's 6 of us on the exec team.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing was trying to find a time that would work for everybody to like do weekly meetings. Maybe that's it. But yeah, no, I think we've just been very blessed in the sense where we're like when we first started this idea, we decided to like just invite our friends onto the exec team. It was like, hey, if you know somebody that'd be interested, talk to them about it,
Yeah.
right? And I think because, I don't know if this is like correlation or causation, but because we're all friends, I think just coming up with ideas and being able to talk to each other, it's just so simple. I don't think we've ever had a time where it's been like, oh, we can't agree on this, and it's like it's been an issue at all. So
like I love all our club meetings because every club meeting starts with like okay, let's reflect on our week, like what we're the most grateful for, or like stuff like that. So like our club meetings don't even feel like a duty. It feels like just us like coming together to like catch up with each other, and also coming up with like fun ideas for our next hangout. So it like feels like a friend group that's like we're just like planning great events.
Exactly, with the support of SMC sometimes, it's like, that's genuinely what it feels like.
I think conversations are are difficult for some people because it's like, how do you break the ice? How do you get to know like other people? And especially when the other person doesn't want to engage with that, it's harder to go like on a deeper level with them, you know? When the other person's like reluctant to share their experiences or whatever. So my priority is to make the environment, like the space, as safe, as comforting, you know, as possible, so the other people are more comfortable in like to share stuff. So I feel like, as we said, like, you know, breaking that ice is very important, and that's what we try to do with all our events, because all our events start with like a discussion, like a 20-30 minute discussions, and those discussions I would say are like the integral part of all of our events. And the discussion can be about like childhood or nature or like gratefulness or how to have hope in this world when like things are dying all around us, you know. So I feel like once you have that discussion, and first step is for us to be open, because we have to be like a blueprint for them, right? If I'm reluctant to share about myself, nobody's gonna share about them. You know, no one's gonna do that. So I try to start the club discussion with openness, with like vulnerability and with honesty. So other exec members feel comfortable sharing their stories, and then everyone just naturally follows us. Yeah. And then because we like forged that great, like we broke that big ice, and other discussions feel very simple, because I feel like, oh, in my childhood, like I grew up in Mongolia, like a nomadic tradition and stuff like that. And on our way, someone would come up to me and be like, oh, you mentioned that you're from Mongolia, so let's talk about that, right? And yeah, so I feel like just like starting the event with openness and vulnerability and honesty, and being like, it's okay to share yourself like this. And would like, I think it makes everyone just feel comfortable.
I think adding on to what you just said about like when people come up to you after our like group conversations, I think outside of our actual like facilitated conversations where we give a prompt and people are actually talking about the prompt, I think outside of that, there's a lot of like small talk that happens, and I think that maybe a slight side tangent here, but I think small talk is actually so crucial for building friendships and building relationships. I think we had this conversation like a week ago at my place, but I was we were just talking about how in a world where I think small talk is often frowned upon, it's like, oh, I don't want to do small talk, like small talk's so boring, like, you know, like let's get deep and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, like I get that, but I think small talk is necessary. It's critical for being able to build deeper relationships, right? And I think outside of our actual facilitated conversations where we give a pretty deep prompt or we have like deep conversations going on, I think if you have a person that you want to connect with or somebody that you had a good conversation with, in order to kind of build upon that relationship, you have to have some level of small talk, right? And small talk doesn't have to be meaningless talk. It can be something that's maybe less important, something that's less like heavy on your mind, but it still establishes that connection and that friendship between you two. And I think that's something that our club tries to do, where it's like we have this, we break the ice with this question, and then afterwards you're free to go on your own, whatever our event is, whether that's thrifting, whether that's, I don't know, going for a walk, whatever it is. During that time, you get to go up to people and actually have these sorts of lighter conversations where you're able to build more meaningful friendships. And I think that's something that's really beautiful about kind of the structure of the club, and also just the meat of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how like nowadays people want like fast results, and I feel like they're like, oh, like you can do this exercise for 7 days and you can get abs or like whatever, right? They want fast results and like also a fast process, and that also like trickles down to our human relationships where people want to like have like this close friendship and this community, but without building like the building blocks. They just want to have it, you know. And I feel like that's like the fault in our society, where we like value efficiency and like paced stuff more than anything. And I feel like but like small talks and like, you know, these small conversations are like the building blocks in like to build like a close and like a strong like community, right? And I feel like I think you're reminding people that small talks are like part of that. And
it's part of community. I think you can't separate small talk from having community, because if you're always, I mean, if you think about it, when you first meet somebody, it's hard to get like deep instantly, right? You have to have like some little chats about like the weather, how's your mom doing, you know, how's school, how are exams, with this being exam season. So yeah, I think it's very important.
Yeah, and just nowadays like people want to skip that step and just get into the meaningful friendship, right? So I think so small talks are important, like building blocks. So yeah, let's engage more in them and be curious about one another.
Yeah. Are you guys noticing any patterns that you've picked up from students connecting in the club that you wouldn't really see normally with just like day-to-day people that you like normally interact with?
I think just with the whole idea of being deep, I think that comes with being vulnerable, right? I think in a time where, I think with our school, it's a pretty competitive environment, right? I think UofT, there's a lot of like competition, there's a lot of like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you my grade because that's gonna make me look bad, or I don't wanna I don't wanna look stupid in front of you, whatever. I think with that comes with vulnerability, right? There's like this, at least from what I've observed, I think in our school there's a lack of wanting to be vulnerable, and I get that. I'm not criticizing it or anything. Like I've also fallen into the trap of like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because it makes me seem weak or it makes me seem incompetent. But I think with our club, a connection or a trend, a pattern that I'm noticing is that people are willing to be more vulnerable and more open in a space where they otherwise wouldn't. Because if you think about it, we're all students, right? We're all still peers, or like I guess some people would see it as competition. Like we're all competitors in a sense. I don't like that word, but you could look at it from that sense. But I think that with, I guess, the sort of atmosphere that we're cultivating, and this whole idea of like it's okay to be open and it's okay to share sides of yourself that you maybe otherwise wouldn't, I think that's inspiring a lot of vulnerability, where people are open to talk about like their childhood and things that might have affected them in the past, and kind of things that it doesn't even have to be anything negative or traumatic. No, it could just be something that you hold close to your heart, something that's dear to you, something that is important to who you are as a person, something that's shaped you. Like, oh, my grandmother is really important to me, or I really enjoy being in nature, or like my family has this tradition where we go up to the cabin every August or something, you know? So I think having that vulnerability is something that I honestly didn't really expect. I honestly thought when we first introduced these kind of deeper questions, people were gonna give surface level answers because, oh, you know, like I don't want to, it feels awkward. But I think just through time and through consistency, people have really opened up and showed that, have shown that vulnerable side, which, I didn't expect, and I think it's really lovely.
Yeah, and to add to that, the pattern I noticed was how willing people were to engage in that, to be in that vulnerable position and to engage in that conversation if you just ask the first question. Because I feel like people hold back a lot. For example, I do that too. I see a person with a beautiful skirt, but then I want to compliment them, but then I hold myself back, saying they don't care, and just my one small compliment is not going to do anything and stuff like that. So I feel like I hold myself back a lot from communication and connecting with people, just because I'm afraid of rejection, or I'm just afraid of that person not perceiving me well. There's a lot of fear when it comes to making the first step. So when you're asking the question, or when you're making the one to start the conversation, people are so willing to engage with you. And I feel like we're all just awkwardly standing next to each other, hoping either one of them is just gonna start the conversation, right? There's I feel like we always feel this tension. We feel it in an elevator when we're with a stranger. We feel it in crowds when we're like you know, in a line, like waiting for like waiting with like strangers. There's always this tension because like we know everyone wants to connect and be friends and be kind to each other, but just because they're afraid to take the first step, we just stand awkwardly next to each other, right? So I feel like our clubs like reminded me to be willing to take the first step and willing to start the conversation, because like people are just like they're willing to share as much as you let them and ask them. And so yeah, it was like a great reminder to be like, no, like everyone's, if I want to have like that conversation and be part of a conversation and to have a community, I should be like willing to start that conversation, to start that spark.
Yeah, take the initiative.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
So do you feel that students feel that they, like, because your club has existed this year, they feel like a need has been fulfilled this year?
We hope so.
Like, yeah, we haven't really sent out like a survey or anything to like get
so
an
we don't
actual response, but
on a personal level, my need for community, for engagement is certainly fulfilled, I'd say. Yeah.
I would say so as well. I think every week through our exec meetings and through our like bi-weekly events, there's been so much community, there's been so much fulfillment for that social aspect in life.
Like after every event, I just like walk back home smiling, like just grateful for my existence, you know, because like we had a fun time talking, and like all our events just remind me like why I'm here, you know, why I'm a human being, why I do this stuff. It's not for like, you know, it's not for like material stuff, or it's not for to be like successful or whatever. It's just to have that conversation, to connect with people, and that's like the most meaningful thing. Yeah.
Exactly. I think maybe I've spoken to one person, I won't say her name or anything, but she was a friend that we made last year during orientation. We hadn't seen her in about a year.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I remember I spoke to her during our first event, and I was kind of like asking her like, oh, how are you finding it? How is it?
Yeah, we were so surprised. We haven't seen her for a year. We only met during orientation, but then she came to our
exactly.
first
She pulled up. That was so amazing. I remember talking to her for a bit, and she was like, yeah, no, I really appreciate this event. Like it's very. I think it was her that said this. Don't quote me on this, but I think she was the one that was like, yeah, no, I really appreciate having this sort of like community and having this social environment to be able to talk to new people and stuff. So yeah, shout out Tiffany if you're watching.
And I feel like it really helps that our events are like low stakes. You just have to be there and willing to engage in conversations, and you'll be welcomed by us. And I feel like having that low stakes like makes it easier for people to come and to participate, and we'll be waiting for you.
Exactly. No
if you want to come.
Required. Just pull up. Just pull up.
If anyone's interested in joining,
where
would they reach you?
They can reach us at smc.village on Instagram, and we all have the club page on our phone, so either one of us will reply to you and just like stay tuned for our events and just pull up.
Yeah, follow us. We always post about our events. DM the club account on Instagram if you have any questions.
I think we've like done 5 events this semester, right?
Where do you guys meet?
Like everywhere, I'd say.
Oh.
Yeah, we don't really have a fixed schedule. That's the thing. We're really following in the nomadic tradition of like not having a set time. It's just just check our Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, link below. Let's talk about the environment. Let's talk about the environment and nature. So we all love the environment. We talked about the environment for so long. What's your favorite part of nature? Just a specific part that you want to like keep and like think it's like really precious and should be, you know, preserved.
Yeah.
Because I know we've all studied the environment at some point or another. I know you're in environmental studies. I'm in earth science. You know. Yeah.
Perfect.
So to answer your question about the environment, I think we first need to make the connection between the environment and our club, which is like the village, right? The social aspect. And a lot of times when people think about like the environment, they think of it as something separate from the. It's only about like the animals, the forests, and the oceans, and they're not really concerned with stuff.
It's too far away from them.
Yeah, it's too far away from them. But the thing is, what we need to understand and realize is that everything is interconnected. As Roland mentioned, like codependency has like this taboo, like it's like a taboo word. People want to be independent. They love being able to live by themselves, and I feel like our like capitalist society is making it easier for people to live individually, and they have like this this illusion of individualism and independence. But the thing is, when you actually think about it, no matter how much you live in seclusion, unless you're like, I don't know, in space, in a vacuum, you are dependent on something. You're dependent on the water you're drinking. You're dependent on the food, like the grocery, like you're shopping, because where's the grocery coming from? Where are the food's coming from? Where's the food you're eating coming from? And I feel like we need to break that illusion of like independence and individualism, and we should stop upholding it to like such a we should stop making it something to strive for. And I feel like people are very proud of being independent and being like, yeah, I can just live on my own. But I don't think it's something to be proud of, because we are so like interrelated, we're connected with each other, and like seeing that complexity, seeing that connection is like the first step in, I feel like, in like creating meaning in your life, I'd say. Yeah. So and because of that illusion of independence comes a lot of alienation, because you're like separating yourself from the environment and from like your surroundings and all the things you depend on. You are alienated from those sources, and you feel alone, you feel secluded, you feel separated, and that's what and I think that's where all of these like loneliness epidemics are coming from.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we want to be like healthy, and if we want to live like a happier, more rewarding life, first step would be understanding that connection with the environment and all the people, understanding our independence, but not making it something that holds us back, but something that uplifts us, because we're dependent on so many things. If the other things thrive around us, that means we're gonna thrive too. And if we thrive, that means like everyone and everything surrounding us is gonna thrive too. And it's actually like beautiful, It means like whenever you fall down, whenever you fail, whenever you face challenging times, you're not alone, and you have so many like support systems around you that you can't like maybe recognize at the moment. So that's where this correlation comes from, because with our club, we're inviting this like connection, and we're trying to make people like realize how much we need this, how much
like how much you need nature.
Yeah, like we need each other as human beings. How much we need community, and how like we're placing importance on community, and our community and community equals to like that like interconnectedness, right? And that is an essential like environmentalism, like this in the ecological thinking where everything is connected. Because I think like nature itself, it's not only about like the plants and the animals, but nature is an ecosystem. It's about how like everything's interrelated, and we're trying to replicate that with our like village. And I feel like once people realize how community and this how we have this ecosystem with us, I think they'll be able to see it also in the bigger picture in the future. So I'd say our club is like a stepping stone in thinking, in getting to that environmental thinking of realizing that everything is connected. Yeah.
I think when we're actually looking at the relationship between us and the environment and nature, I think it's really important to focus on how, when we interact with nature, there's something about us that changes, right? I think, was it Professor Apolloni's talk where he talked about, he teaches a course on, I think it's like psychology and...
Like psychological resilience?
Yeah, psychological resilience and something that ties in with nature. I forget the specifics, I don't know the course code, sorry, but I remember him talking about how when we're surrounded in green spaces and when we're in nature with natural elements like the river, like the mountains, like the trees and whatnot, that changes something about us fundamentally, that like alters something in our brain, like some of our I guess, neurochemicals, they change, and something happens to us where there are proven studies where we calm down as people, we become a lot more grounded, we become a lot more present. And again, like in a time where we're so disconnected, we're always on our phones. I'm guilty of this, but like we're always on our phones, we're always scrolling, we're always looking for that next hit of dopamine. I think being away from all that and being grounded in nature is so important. And anytime we do a club event where we're outside in nature, I find that people are usually just a lot more relaxed. Like, cause, I mean, you're in nature, right? You're surrounded by trees, you're with leaves, you're with little animals, little fat little squirrels everywhere. Like, that does something to you that you just otherwise wouldn't find with looking at your phone all day. And I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but for me personally, I know that whenever I'm hiking or whenever I'm like, I don't know, by the beach, in a forest somewhere, especially that's really accessible being back in BC, I was BC.
Yep.
But being back just in these sorts of spaces and these sorts of environments, it makes you feel so small, and it makes you realize like, wow, like my problems are fixable. Like they're just, I'm so small compared to the grandeur of the mountains, right? The grandeur of like these waterfalls and whatnot. And it really makes you reflect back on your own life. And again, if that's something that our club can contribute to make you reflect more and to think more and to, and again, I feel like we're kind of going in a circle at this point, but it's very circular because everything that we do, it affects other people around us, right? And when we reflect on our own actions, we reflect on who we are as people and our role in this world. It's to, well, I think it's to be around others and to be able to protect this environment that has otherwise housed us for centuries and centuries and centuries, right? I mean, the earliest humans, we all lived in caves. And even now, like all our buildings come from natural resources that we get from the environment. So yeah, I think it's a very circular idea of being able to live with the environment, seeing its importance, and then that kind of extends on to being able to see our importance with each other in connection with the environment. So it's like a triangle almost.
That's really different to how I would view the environment, because I actually work in field work. I'm in mountains a lot. Our field work consists of going into the Canadian Shield, and we're always in the middle of nowhere in some sort of mine. We're always in the dark, surrounded by rock. It's really cool. But we're also in the extractive industry. So we're also like, we look at nature as a source. It's different, where it's like you use nature as a source of sort of like replenishing, connecting sort of thing. I mean, we also use nature to replenish things, but it's also like very extractive. So it's like very nice to see sort of like a very like using nature to like viewing nature as like a way to heal is like sort of a rare sort of like view in my department where it's like very extractive, and we're always like going out places. We're out in like marshes, rivers, and like moraines and stuff. I was recently in like Newmarket doing soil extraction, where we were digging holes and extracting piles of soil. And so like just sort of standing there and just sort of like grinding it away. Like, I mean, it really makes you realize how hard you actually have to work. So like I actually have to like the physical aspect, which is like.
And like this extractive quality in like nature comes from like colonialism, right? Because like with colonialism,
we don't really talk about that.
Yeah,
in our industry.
It is all about extraction. It's about extracting not only natural resources but like culture, other indigenous peoples and local communities, cultures and their artifacts. You know, it's all about extraction. It's all about taking without consent. And I feel like that. Recognizing that we've taken so many things from nature, from other cultures, without their consent, without their knowledge, without their permission, and understanding that is like important, because I feel like people think of colonialism as only like, you know, as only like, oh, like the British people coming to India to extract. But the thing is, colonialism still continues till this day, and it's apparent in our like daily lives. Whenever you use something, whenever you extract something, whenever you use a natural resource without getting the consent from the local populations, or like, you know, without thinking of how it's gonna affect the like that local natural system, you are also performing colonialism. Colonialism extends towards you. So I feel like recognizing that this extractive method of viewing the world and looking at like nature or the environment as just like our source of, you know, like goods that we can commodify. That's like a colonial way of thinking. So that's why we need to break it and bring back, like, you know, respecting and respecting and getting consent from nature, you know, being grateful for nature for all its resources, and understanding our dependence on it, and understanding how without nature we wouldn't exist. And yeah, just being grateful for it is like the first step in breaking that colonial like way of thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Like with like being in the extractive industry, we sort of just now had land acknowledgements in our classrooms. We literally just recently been like, this is we acknowledge, like we changed the land acknowledgement to be like, we are in the extractive industry. Our department heavily relies on the land. Like actually, a lot of mines that we go to and we research from is on, I think, unceded territory. And so it's on stolen land, and so we are actually researching on stolen land. We just now realized that.
It's like,
yeah,
that's
crazy.
a great step, you know,
Yeah,
recognizing
it's a good step.
it. But also, we need to understand that it's like the first step, right? There are also like so many things we need to, because I feel like a lot of people and a lot of companies, they like just feel like, oh, we acknowledge our wrongdoings, and they think that's enough. They think like it legitimizes their like moral standing, when in actuality, just realizing that you're a quote unquote like a bad person does not make you a good person. You know, you actually have to do stuff to redeem yourself and to become a good person. So yeah, we're only on the first step of becoming environmentally conscious.
So are there any steps that you guys are taking, or any smaller steps to sort of curb your like environmental impact, or like sometimes like I think when I do things, it's like things to help the environment. I think it's like, oh, it might not make a difference. Are there any ways that you use? Are there any like methods and like things that you've done to like, help the environment in a way that's like not sort of like performative? I guess it's not performative.
Yeah.
I hate using that word, but it's not.
I think a lot of my like thinking and my like motivations, like thoughts or like perspectives that drive my like everyday action comes from like my culture, my background. I'm from Mongolia, and like a lot of our extended families are like still nomads in Mongolia. So the way I grew up seeing nature was, like nature was quote unquote our god. Where we see like, oh, we're like nature's children. We are children of the like Mother Earth, and who we are. The reason why we're healthy, the reason why we're alive, and the reason why we're thriving is because nature allows us. She gives us water, she gives us resources, she gives us food, she gives us a place to house, she gives us land, So that's why we need to respect nature just as much as she allows us to thrive, right? And I feel like when I came, like in the Western culture, like that connection is lost. You don't see nature as like Mother Earth. You don't see and respect it, but instead you see it as like something to control, something to commodify, something that you can use for your own good. Which I like. That's like a very new perspective for me. That's something I don't. Yeah. So I would say like people to start becoming like environmentally conscious, you first have to dethrone humanity. I'd say in environmental dethrone human beings. Where, for example, just saying like, oh, how can we help environment? I feel like puts us on a pedestal, puts us in a position of power where we have this like control over environment and we can like help it, right? Help it become better. We're just like doing a favor for the environment. But the thing is, the environment's the one doing a favor to us. Environment and nature is in control of us, as in higher power. Like if a meteor were to come and hit the planet, we're all
We're
dead,
dead.
but then the planet's gonna still keep standing. Just like how dinosaurs like died, and then the whole like ecosystem like replenished itself and became like a new place.
Yeah.
Like the Earth is capable of that. It's much stronger and resilient than us. We need to stop thinking that, you know, oh, like this environment is like, the nature is like this fragile little thing and we need to like help it. No, we need to understand that like if the planet, like if the, like something, a natural disaster happens like tomorrow and wipes out all of humanity, nature's not gonna lose. The environment will be able to like replenish itself. It's gonna have new species, and like the nature's like our planet's history will continue. You know, it's like billions of years old. Like we are nothing. So I think we need to. That's why we need to like dethrone ourselves and understand that like no, like we are in grace of nature. If that makes sense. That
No, I totally agree.
yeah, because we live it. Yeah, so. We're not trying to like, we need to be sustainable and environmentally conscious, not because we're trying to help nature, not because we're trying to help other human beings. No, it's or in order to sustain us,
Yeah.
to save us, we need to, you know, we need to live in harmony with our planet. So first of all, just dethroning ourselves, losing words like helping nature or, you know, like using nature, and in your everyday conversation, talking about nature with respect is like a first step in becoming more environmentally conscious. But in sense of like more practical stuff would be finding meaning or like pleasure in like human activities. For example, enjoying human conversations or enjoying having fun with self, because I feel like a lot of people in this day and age, like they get like real happiness from like consumerism, right?
Yep.
They're happy shopping. Like getting a new scarf for them is happiness. Getting like a new like having an Amazon wish list and then getting it during Black Friday is happiness for them. And I feel like that happiness is very arbitrary, and also it's like fake happiness, you know, where you feel only happy when you have
very
that
arbitrary.
material stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's very conditional. So I feel like instead of, we need to start driving pleasure from other areas in life, of like community, going to events, talking to people, maybe exercising, going on a run, reconnecting with nature. Yeah, and I feel like doing that will help you, because now that I'm not like a material person. I've never got a happiness from like buying this stuff, right? Like actually buying stuff like saddens me deeply. And yeah, so recently I stopped like using like shampoo and like deodorants that have like a physical package. Now I only use bar soaps. Like my shampoo is like a bar soap. My body wash is a bar soap. So that helps. And not having like a wish list, because everyone has like a buy list and everyone buys something during Black Friday, and it's become so normalized. And not falling into that propaganda, not falling into like capitalist propaganda of being like, no, like it's like why are we so excited to buy a new thing? Why are we so excited to spend our money? No, I should be excited to, you know, to like eat food, or like, you know, to spend time with my family. So I feel like just like, you know, just reshaping where you get pleasure and what happiness means to you is like first step. So it's like beginner steps of like just changing how you think about the world. Yeah, what about you?
I think.
Sorry, that was like a very long,
very insightful. Thank you. No, but tying into what you just said, I was gonna say, on a practical level, I love thrifting, but that's kind of consumerist.
Right.
But also, I do think that fashion is an expression of who you are, right? I think through what you wear, whether that's jewelry, makeup, whatever, clothing, especially clothing. I think I'm focused mostly on clothing. I think what you wear says a lot about you, and I think being a person and being able to have this sort of community, you want to express yourself, right, to the fullest extent, to your truest extent. And I think the best way to do that is thrifting. Honestly, I think because not only are you saving so much clothing from going into the landfill, and you're saving so much like packaging and plastic that comes with buying clothes from, you know, fast fashion brands and Amazon, you're saving the environment in a sense where again, we're not saying it for the environment itself, like Mother Nature and God's creation, but it's just you're saving it for yourself, really. If we can't continue to keep the environment as in a livable state, then we are going to die, right? The nature and everything in the environment continues living on. We perish, we suffer, we're extinct. And we don't really want that, right? So I think thrifting is my personal favorite. Like my whole entire outfit right now is thrifted.
Hell yeah.
I think it's also just so like financially smart, right?
Yeah.
Like being students, guys, we in this economy we can't be going out
No.
and buying.
Not spending money
Not
is
spending money.
being
Is
environmental.
Exactly,
Exactly.
clock it. So yeah, I think just being able to spend less less money on clothing, being able to express yourself at the same time, and being able to avoid excess packaging and plastic. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but like when you buy stuff, I really don't
It
buy
comes with
clothing.
layers of packaging.
Yeah, but when I buy stuff from Amazon, for example, I'm surprised. Like recently, I think I got like, what was it? I got this like little portable charger thing, and it came inside a cardboard box that was quadruple the size with bubble wrap and more plastic and another layer of plastic covering the actual thing. And I was like, I was shocked. Like, why do we need all this? We really don't, right? Y'all are doing too much. So yeah, I think just being able to thrift, going into the thrift store, being able to go with friends, being able to connect and find new pieces. You also find cooler clothing while you're thrifting. I am a firm believer in that.
Oh yeah.
So I think being able to do that is it's so awesome for the environment, for ourselves, and for this whole notion of community.
Yeah, and just saying no to takeouts, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to pick up stuff from the store, just pick it up. Don't order stuff, if that makes sense. Yeah, just do your own grocery, because I saw a lot of people just ordering grocery, and like that's awesome, but like
make your own
The
food.
packaging is insane.
the packaging
Yeah.
is crazy, so just go yourself, you know? Like, yeah.
I think it's important to remember that like we're just one person, right?
Yeah.
It seems like any work that we put in, any effort that we make, it may seem minuscule, it may seem like, okay, well, we're not making a difference. But then that's the problem, right? Like, if we all think like that, no change is ever going to be made. If we're all just like, oh, the next person will do something more, like, I'm so insignificant, like, yeah, we're not that important on the grand scheme of things. But also, all of our habits come together and they shape our society, they shape the way we think, right? And I think that's what's contributing to this whole idea of like, well, I'm not going to do anything because it's not going to matter. No, but it does. Like, we may not matter on, like, a global level. It sounds kind of dark, but, like, we may not, like, our efforts may not become all that big of a difference, but within our own communities, I think we should strive to make a difference and strive to put in work. Even if it means, like, making an extra step to go out and pick up something or to, avoid plastic, whatever it may be. Our little actions, they all accumulate and they become something greater than ourselves.
Yeah. And also, why do you care so much about other people? You know, like even if you like preach about sustainability or like if you're doing your best in your everyday action and you and you know like you're respecting the nature, like just be confident in your ability to inspire other people. And if they get inspired, that's great. And if they don't, they don't. We shouldn't place like the value in our work and how we're being sustainable onto other people's like rejection or reaction, right? They can reject, they can say no however they want, but what is important to me is that I'm doing it and that people close to me are doing it and I'm trying to push them to do it and just like having hope that things will like I do matter and doing that, because why would you want to belittle yourself? Why would you want to tell yourself that, oh, I don't matter, my actions are small, right? Like, no, be kind to yourself, believe in your strength, believe in your ability to inspire and motivate other people, like love yourself and and like appreciate just like your efforts, and that is like good enough,
Yeah, that's what environmentalism is really about,
About being hopeful.
What sorts of ways do you see technology affecting the environment?
That's like a loaded question, and as someone who's studying like digital media, like I have so many ways that I can answer that question, but I'll just answer it in like as succinctly as I can. I think technology. So one thing about technology is that we have been because of like industrial revolution and everything. Technology has been like viewed as this like
godlike creation, you know, that like and brought so many advancements, so many improvements, and it's like this driver of society, it's driver of humanity. Technology is what's gonna take us to the next level. You know, we've been like hailing technology as this like divine like creation almost, right? But the thing is, technology has been racist, sexist, extractionist, and like against marginalized group for like a very long time. We need to understand that technology is not this creation that just like drives people, but no, technology has been like used very systematically, very like by certain group of people in power in order to achieve their goods. Technology is not so much about like is not so much about like just it advancing, but then technology is more about like certain people who are in power using like technological advancements in order to achieve like their goals. You know, so I think we need to start talking about technology as its own entity. You know, just technology doing this, technology is doing that, but we need to see who is behind that technology, who created that technology, what kind of design does it have? Does its design like exclude certain kind of people, and what kind of purpose are they using this technology for, right? So I feel like we need to see like the humanity in technology and like the human drivers in it. So yeah, I'd say of course technology is affecting us, and we don't even know like the extent of its like effects, because you know it's just like it affects us so deeply, and we're not going to be able to see its effects like for hundreds of years until like they do like an anthropologist do like a study on us, right? Yeah, so like I think the first step would be to understand, not to talk about technology as it's like this own thing, like which is like technological reification, but to be like who is behind that technology. And I would say that in today's age, billionaires are behind that technology, right? So it wouldn't be much about like how is technology shaping the world, but it's about like how are those people in power, who are mostly white billionaires, are using this technology to shape the world, and how are they shaping it? So I would say in this day and age, they're shaping the world to be more consumerist, more conformist. Also, they're trying to neutralize a lot of things, you know, with like the minimalism and like the clean girl aesthetic and everything being clean, minimalist. And also a lot of people's like notion of success being tied to materialism, you know, to be successful in life you have to buy certain stuff, you have to own certain stuff. So it's all about like owning, controlling, buying, using, and making a profit, just taking, and then
everything's
also
a dollar sign.
and everything becoming so neutral, so white, so bland, you know. Like I feel like everything is just like, you know, technology is like becoming cleaner, sleeker, you know, the designs are becoming like rounder, and it's just like there is no like flair in them, there's no humanity, there's no color, there's no like, you know, shapes, different designs, everything is becoming so minimal, like it's just, and I feel like a lot of people forget that they think like just technology itself is like advancing. They don't see the human labor behind it. For example, you talked about AI, but AI is not just developing by itself. AI is only possible thanks to the mining industry, thanks to the human labor, like the people who are mining every day with minimum wage in those in those chip manufacturers, and the people who are making the chips with minimum wage, and also with all the data centers that are getting built and they are run by humans. So like I feel like
it was all humans all along.
Yeah, it's all like we need to be able to see the human labor behind it and be like, no, technology is not driving society, it's not shaping us. It's like the human, like the power behind it, and the people who are using it for a certain means, and also the people who are making it possible, with minimum wage and with like horrible working conditions,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we need to dethrone technology too.
Yep.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah, to just see it as a tool, not this grand like change or driver of things.
Mhm.
You know.
I think you summarized that really well. I'm trying to think, what can I add on to that?
Talk about like how social media could affect it with
Yeah.
AI, coupled with AI.
Coupled with AI,
'Cause
okay.
we're all so chronically online.
Yeah, okay,
Like
so
we all are.
I think being so chronically online, I think I'll tie this more into like the reflection aspect that I talked about earlier about like when you're in nature, when you're with other people, you tend to reflect more on your own actions and how am I impacting the environment, right? Like what am I doing that impacts those around me, the space that I'm living in and whatnot. I think AI and social media, oh my goodness, it makes us so stupid. It makes us genuinely such dumb, brain rotted people. Brain rot is such a real term. Like I saw this study where I forget the percentage, I forget the, that's one of our execs actually, sorry, quick side note, that's one of our execs. There was a study that was saying, like, I forget the number, but some percentage of the gray matter in our brain shrinks, right, with constant daily use of social media. And when we become dumber, when we become less introspective people, we just become so much more indifferent and,
Just become a husk.
yes, we become a husk of a human, and we lose that soul, we become like AI, where there's no human, there's no, you know that meme that's like, oh, this design is not very human, or like, it is very human, and it's like something that's completely not human. It's like that, it's like we are humans, when we're walking around, well, we don't even go outside and walk around anymore, but we're going around, going about our lives, going through the motions of our lives, without consideration, without empathy, without care for each other, for our environment, for the greenery around us, and that just becomes like that's just something that becomes so obvious once you kind of take a step back and you reflect. Because last month actually, I deleted Instagram from my phone for a bit, and I still have it deleted. Just because my scrolling real time is actually awful. Like I would spend, prior to that, I'd spend all my free time just on Reels scrolling. And it wasn't until about after, I think like a week after I deleted Instagram, I started realizing like, wait, like I can think again. Like wow, I can use my brain, like form conscious thoughts and ideas that are independent of the content that I'm consuming. Because it's crazy. It's like you get this like mental clarity that you just don't have when you're constantly on social media, because you get brain fog, right? You're constantly consuming. Your dopamine receptors are so insanely fried. It's like you cannot independently come up with your own ideas anymore. And I think you deleted Instagram recently too, which has been awesome. You should totally share about your experience with that. But I think just with AI, we're dependent on it for literally everything, and it's kind of sad because it's like, well, we're not even reading anymore. You know, we're not doing things that otherwise make us, and it's what humans are so unique for, right? We have this crazy cognitive capacity to be able to think, be able to use logical reasoning, to be able to articulate ourselves, and we're not doing that anymore because of AI mostly, and also because of just the way that social media is structured. So yeah, I think that it's funny because social media was designed to connect us more, right? I mean, Facebook was created with this whole idea of like, okay, well, people in separate continents can post photos of their lives and we're able to connect through that. But just with the way that humans and the way that we've kind of evolved alongside of it, because AI and technology is evolving, it's become this tool of isolation, and it's become this mechanism of, I think, separation for us. And I think that's something that we've been really blessed to be able to acknowledge, because not everyone breaks out of that trap, right? A lot of us are still in that trap of consuming, and using AI and whatnot. Which, again, quick side note, I'm not saying AI is horrible. AI does have its benefits. It's great for summarizing things. It's great for a whole range of activities. But when we become...
we need to recognize it as what it is.
A tool. It's not something that we become dependent on, right? It's not something that we use for every single... We shouldn't use it for every aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think AI and social media definitely is becoming a huge concern, and it's something that our club is trying to navigate, and steer away from.
Yeah, because like, instead of like centering it, we need to recognize it as a tool to make our lives better. Just like cars or like bicycles, you know, we use it. But I feel like now AI is using us to make AI better, to make certain group of people more powerful, right? So I feel like we need to, and social media is using us to sell products or using us to
Using our data.
using our data and using us to
All numbers.
promote certain kind of ideas, right? So I feel like we need to we need to be careful of not becoming tools ourselves, and we need to recognize our power and reclaim our power and be like, no, like AI is our tool, social media is our tool, and it should work for our benefit. And if it's harming us, and if it's putting us in danger, if it's crossing our boundaries and using our data without our consent, then like we need to. I think it's like a red flag. No, I think we need to start understanding that. Oh my God, AI is using us now. Yeah, right. So yeah, so don't become a tool, guys. We need to use them as tools. Yeah, they are the products. Now I feel like humans are becoming products.
So final question. Wow. So the club have more space or money to grow next year, hypothetically. What direction would you love to explore? Where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
Yeah. Well, like my like the vision that I haven't. Just to conclude the AI thing, like this is just our perspective, and I want people to, to like. I hope it becomes like a beginning step into like thinking more critically about AI and technology. And if you want to like debate us, if you hold like differing opinions, maybe you're like a computer science student who like loves AI and programming, and you think it's gonna like change us for the
Great
better.
for coding, I will say.
Then maybe like leave a comment down below, and we'll probably debate with you in the comment section.
Guys, fight in the comments.
So for the clubs, the thing I had in mind, I don't know if I shared it with you or not, but it is like, because our club is all about like community, I don't want there to be like an exec member or like a normal member or whatever. I feel like everyone should be open to, host an event or do an event. So in the future, I want there to be like a rolling basis where we're able to hold events and people can join us. Like anyone can join us if they're free, and they can join us to maybe like to come up with to propose an event, an event idea, and they can it's just like very open, very I'd say transparent, and like anyone can come to our meeting and they can just be like, oh, I want to do this event. Can you like do it for me, or like can you do it with us? And we're like open to collaboration. Yeah, and we also want to bring in more like break out of only like the St. Michael's like bubble, where we want to make it like a UofT club, and where like we are open to like more people. Yeah, and hopefully like a lot more collaboration with other like UofT like environmental clubs too, and also just any other clubs, because like the environment and being sustainable is like such a core thing that I feel like it can be applied to any other discipline or like department, right? So yeah.
The Earth Science Department welcomes you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, that's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, similar to kind of what you were talking about with breaking out of the SMC St. Mike's bubble. We'll always be like SMC's Village, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is like St. Mike's Village, SMC Village. This is always going to be like integral to who we are, right? Like, this is how we were founded. But yeah, I think next year, if we had the budget, if you're watching, if we have the budget, I think it would be fantastic to host sort of like retreat getaway events.
Oh,
I
yes.
think that's just where I find personally we have the best conversations, where we get the deepest, and we're able to get to know each other on a much deeper level, right? I'm a part of a campus fellowship, and we also do retreats every reading week. And I think it's just during that weekend, like the 1 or 2 nights that we go away, that's when you're able to really connect with people really deeply, right? Like you're all like living in the same building, you're all eating the same food and whatnot. And that like facilitates community, right? Like you kind of have to talk to people. And I think that's something I would love to bring to our club if it was ever possible, to just have like a weekend where we all get away, we go to some, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, we just go somewhere where we all kind of just relax together, chill, get to know each other. There are activities that we plan out, and just be able to grow together, get to know each other deeper on a level that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do with just a couple hours out of our busy Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Like,
Very similar to what I do, actually. Yeah, so our field work Actually,
Right.
this year I'm thinking of going to Whitefish, Ontario to do calcite identification.
How
Oh,
far
that's
is that?
awesome.
It is just it's like 4 hours away. 4 hours away out east.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, that's sick.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
It's very similar to what you were saying with the retreats, how you just stay in a cabin bunker,
Yeah,
whatever. We are like that, but to the extreme.
Wait, that's awesome.
Yeah, we are intense. There's barely any running water, barely any hot water. We are sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
There's minimal heating. We are like that to the extreme. There's a lot of and on top of that, there is a lot of work that you have to do. And we are surveying, we are doing a lot of paperwork. We are doing contracting with mining industries themselves, stuff like that. So it's I am doing the exact same, but
That's awesome.
there. Any closing remarks?
Yeah. Lovely. Do you have any feedback for us, just based on what you've heard, what our club does, how we kind of operate? Any feedback? Any constructive criticism? How can we grow and learn from
I'd
you?
love for you guys to do sort of a mountaineer hike.
Oh
Yeah.
If we only had mountains around.
Anywhere where there's more rocks. As a geoscience student, I love looking at rocks.
Okay, something
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah, something like
Hiking,
rocky.
walking in the
Yeah, I
mountains,
love
terrain.
standing on. Do you ever feel the crunch of terrain?
Yeah,
Wow.
like the gravel,
Yeah.
like the.
Just crunch.
Maybe
Yeah,
we can
yeah.
collaborate with you and you can go with us on a walk and then explain rocks to us.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I love
Wait,
that. I love that.
yeah.
Because we see rocks everywhere, but we don't know their
I-
origin, what they mean to us, but then they tell fascinating tales about the earth,
Yeah,
the planet.
yeah. We do thin sections of rocks where we literally will take a random rock on the side, we will shave it down and put it on a little glass panel for
Oh my god.
microscopes thin sections.
That's
sick.
It is a very sciencey department. People don't think that geoscience is actually a sciencey department. It totally is. We do a lot of there's a lot of bio, there's a lot of chem, there's a lot of computer science even.
I feel another time you have to do an episode just about your department.
Just about my department.
Yeah,
I should just
like-
bring people from my department.
Yeah, exactly.
I should.
Exactly.
Oh,
I think it'd be
I
very
know
fun.
someone that I
Yeah.
can bring actually. And I actually do know someone.
Yeah, because I feel it'd be very cool for SMC Unfiltered to bring people from different departments and maybe departments that we don't know a lot about. For example, we've all heard about the Rothman kids, right? We don't
Yeah.
really care about the economists and the accounting
Yeah.
majors. But then do
We
we
really
hear
care.
about for example, art history? What do they do? What we don't
Or
hear
the
about
math.
geology, right? What
Yeah.
do they do? What kind of
Yeah.
opportunities?
There's so
there are?
many different majors as
Yeah,
well
so many interesting majors
that,
that we.
are in my house. They're just kind of cool.
So I feel you can definitely do that.
Yeah,
That'd be very cool.
Even people, there's a lot of people in my house that are in linguistics. And I love hearing them, just about they're oh yeah, I heard about this guy, and they were talking so differently.
Yeah.
Or I hear about this guy, and they were using different vocabulary, blah blah blah. Or and then I start speaking about whatever I did for the week that I was studying. They were oh, that's so cool, and I'm I don't know, it's kind of mundane.
Also, it was very cool hearing your perspective on environmentalism from your department, right? Because they're so extraction.
It's very extractive.
As someone
that.
who does that, yeah.
So I feel it'd be cool if you gather people from different departments and you have one topic, for example, AI, which is very this heating topic.
It's very hot.
Hot topic, and then
Yeah.
you can have someone who's an environmentalist, a teacher, an artist, and also a computer science student or
Or
an
a
economist.
programmer.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
can all talk about AI from different
Or
perspectives.
even an economist.
Yeah, that'd be
Or a math and physics student. You gotta get everyone
It's
just
every department has different definitions, and AI affects them
I know
differently
in the
too.
environment department we
We don't
like AI.
we don't like it, but then with economists, I bet they love it, right?
Yeah, right.
So,
The comp sci people, the programmers, the economists, they love
Yeah.
AI.
so
We don't. So yeah.
but yeah,
But yeah.
that's very cool.
Thanks for
Thank
the
you so much for
episode.
inviting
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for all
Yes.
the meaningful, engaging questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insightful answers. This is really good.
Yeah, all the questions were so complex. I feel I went on a lot of tangents.
I
and
love
sorry
the
about that.
tangents that you went on. They were great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have 5
Thank
seconds
you.
to shout out anything that you want right into that camera.
Love you, our exec members.
Yes,
Do
shout out
more-
SMC Village.
More fun events next semester, and
Shout out everyone that comes to our events. Thank you for making
you're
this
the best.
possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And see you next semester with our newly and better events. New and better events.
Yeah, gang gang.
Yeah, and please give us more money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, guys.